lot of the research is military-oriented, but it's all about human-machine interaction. And actually, before, what I'm going to show is a demo that's come out of the research, and I want to show this, one, to show how cool it is, but two, also why it's so hard to do this kind of research. So, you guys ready for this demo? Let's sit down.
I know, should I?
Let's sit down. Let's sit down. Okay.
I hate this new style. Before, like, I know what's going to happen. Now I don't.
Okay, so let's go to the demo now. Just press start, and then we'll go from there.
You're driving down an old bridge when it breaks. Suddenly, your car is in the water. It's sinking fast. What do you do?
Oh, you have to let it sink into the water, and then once it's slowly submerged, then you
have to talk to it by using this device.
Oh man, I'm not fucking answering the question.
Rolling down the window is not the first thing you need to do if your car is in the water. What do you do first?
I let the car sink into the lake thing?
Opening the passenger door is not the first thing you have to do if you're submerged in water.
Is he doing this
What do you do first?
I call for help.
Screaming for help is a last resort. You can see people nearby who can help. What is the first thing you have to do if your car is submerged in water?
I take a breath. I take a breath.
Unfastening your seatbelt is correct.
I didn't say
If your car is in the
that.
water.
You look.
Good job.
It didn't hear you say that. We'll get to that in a
Wait,
second.
You've popped your seatbelt, but every second you stay inside the car, it sinks further and further down deep into the water. What do you have to do next?
I pull out my gun.
Wait, say, he pulls out his gun.
I think it hurt me.
My gun.
Good. Rolling the window down
and then talk.
is the right next move. If for some reason the window mechanism is not working, you can try breaking the window. Hardware stores and auto stores sell car window breakers for this very reason. Remember, don't bother trying to break the windshield. Windshields are made out of durable glass specifically to withstand undue force. Instead, make sure to break your window if you can't roll it down.
This is creepy.
If you don't have a window breaker, then you can use the heel of a pointy shoe, your elbow, or anything hard and pointy you might be able to find in the car, like a screwdriver.
Keep a pair of pointy shoes. I keep high heels.
You've rolled down your window, water is rushing in, and your car is sinking fast. What do you have to do next?
Let the car sink, then hold my breath.
There's no need to open the passenger door. Your window is already rolled down.
So who's that?
What do you have to do next?
This is a computer program online, totally. It's going to hear exactly what I'm saying.
I want to die anyway.
Do not give up. Your car is in the water. What is the next thing you need to do after rolling your window down to get out?
Unbuckle your seatbelt.
We already did that.
Swimming out the window is the right next move. Helpful tip. If you have time and you're wearing jeans or some other heavy item of clothing, it might be a good idea to first take off your jeans, cable and hiking boots, before swimming out through the window, so that you're not weighed down by heavy clothes.
So wait, what's else in the presentation? I don't like this.
Good job on swimming out of the car through the window and saving your own life.
So, okay, I want to, wait, go back to it real quick. So I want to say, just to introduce what this is. So this is from a team doing natural language processing and narrative storytelling. So the idea is that you can directly talk and interact with a computer. In this case, it's a scenario. This is like a training scenario of like how to escape from a car that's being submerged in water, right? So again, part of the point of why I wanted to bring this up is one, why this is so hard to do. So actually, if you can see, like when we were talking, it's actually hearing exactly what we're saying, right? Like it's doing a very, very good job of being able to understand.
I said Pearl Jam, but you know.
Well, that's what you meant in your heart. So there's like a couple things, if you noticed, is that it could hear what we said, but it would interpret the wrong thing when we said it. But it would interpret the wrong thing as if we said the correct thing sometimes, and then other times it would say that we did the wrong thing. So the other kind of component that is involved in this is not only hearing exactly what we're saying, but interpreting exactly what we're saying. And that is the hardest thing about it. And that's something like we actually totally take for granted as people going throughout the world, is that our language is so complicated, so ambiguous. And that makes it so hard to be able to get a computer to tell us, or to understand what we're saying. And just to give an example, so with why language is so hard, go 2 slides. Okay, so just a couple of examples of why. Like everyone, maybe if you know this grammar book, like each shoots and leaves, right? Depending where you put the comma, it means very different things. Like the word star, right? A star can be an astronomical thing in the sky, it can be a person, but it can also be a verb too, right? To star in something, right? How on earth, right, are computers supposed to know that? We have to do the research to be able to tell them to do that correctly, right? So again, the ambiguity is just a very difficult, easy for humans, really difficult for computers. But they made a ton of progress in this, and part of how they've done this, go to the next slide, is basically building models like this. So this is literally like a computer scientist figuring out how to annotate language to tell a computer how to understand a human, right? They're making all of these connections that we just do this implicitly, right? Like we have a ton of experience and we just learn how to do these things without a second thought, but for a computer to understand this, and again, why it's so hard, why Siri sucks, why most natural language processors aren't that great, is because there's so much ambiguity and there's just so much relations in the language that we use when we speak about things.
Cool. I think it should be that way though, right? We should
keep language our secret.
Yeah.
Robots. They'll be able to read our heartbeats, but not what we're saying with our mouths.
Okay, but imagine like, I think if you go to the next slide, I think where this is actually really cool.
This is just fucking scary.
Hold on. All right. So what is cool about this? If you look on this right image, so that person is actually an avatar digitization of someone who's a Holocaust survivor. So what they're doing is, this is called the Holocaust Project, where they're preserving stories from people and humans to be able to tell their stories when they're not around anymore, right? So that setting, that picture is actually in a classroom where they set up like a hologram-like device where they have a Holocaust survivor that you can actually speak to and ask them questions about their childhood, like what it was like to be in the Holocaust.
Turn up so.
Hey guys, welcome to our comedy show.
But you can imagine like hanging out with like Benjamin Franklin or something, right? Like
smoke weed with them.
Yeah,
I
go
saw
back
that in a movie. It's called How High.
any historical figure, right? Like
Yeah.
you could turn into a digital avatar to like teach history, or you could talk to an astronaut, like just people that you wouldn't normally be able to meet.
Right.
You can have the most badass history lessons you could ever imagine, but only because of technology.
Oh,
Like,
not that bad.
Yeah.
Okay. That's like my own right thing. So we have a couple minutes left, I think. So is there anything else you wanted to cover? Okay.
No.
Yeah, I think what I'm saying is like once you can get like the natural language processing thing, it's just that is a lot of potential, a lot of training things, a lot of learning things, but it'll just make it way easier for us to be able to interact and use computers if they can understand us in a way that,
My hope with that is that by the time I am so old I need my kids to tell me how computers work, I can just talk to the computer for it to tell me how it works. Therefore, like cutting out the need to have children entirely. That's my solemn wish here.
That's you got it right there.
Okay. Do you want to bring the volume?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, all right.